Got you.
It's just pulling.
It's going.
All right, Mr. Jones. All of his stuff looks normal. He is ready to be extubated. And I need my tinting paper rouge. Thank you.
Right here.
He's opening his eyes. He is awake. He is alert. So you know what we're about to do. About to take out that tube, okay? And I want you to cough when I tell you to cough, and take a big deep breath in when I tell you to take a big deep breath in. But I'm going to suction you first, okay? And so I'm going to inline suction him really nicely. Get all that, and he's getting all that stuff out, okay? There. And then now I have oral suction, okay? All right, I'm just going to stick this over here. This is on. I feel it. And we're good to go. You can use face shield, you can use, or face tint, and you can use an aerosol mask. It doesn't matter, okay? Either way. All right. About to pull out that tube, okay? So I'm going to unhook this here, and you just follow my instructions.
Sometimes you can take scissors and cut up one side to make it easier if you don't want to do all that.
Or use your little fingers and rip here and rip there. Then you can leave all the tape here.
I just want to...
Whichever way. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. So I just like to... Yeah, I mean, like, there's multiple ways to do it. I like to unhook on one side, so then take all my tape, and so now I ain't got anything left. That's just me, though.
Paper towels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do need something. Thank you. Thank you. I forgot to get a paper towel or a chuck, something like that to catch all the nasty junk.
Towel, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. So we got this all ready. All right. Okay. So I'm going to suction in his mouth right now first. I've already suctioned deep into his lungs. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't sound very...
do sound effects.
I didn't talk that well.
All right.
It's funny because the camera's not picking her up.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so I'm going to tell you to take a big, deep breath in, okay? And then I'm going to pull this tube out, and then I want you to cough, okay? All right, you ready? All right.
That's what they do.
All right, I'm deflating the cuff. Oh, my gosh. I can't get it off all the way. Okay. All right, big, deep breath in.
How about kill me? Call my wife.
I want something to drink.
Yeah. I was trying to tell you I couldn't breathe.
Okay, so we're going to put this on.
the adult world.
Yeah. All right, Mr. or whoever you are. Okay, hang on. Now, she suctioned him. He coughed. And then I'm going to take my stethoscope, and then I'm going to say, all right, take a big, deep breath in. And what am I listening for? Strider. Strider happens on inspiration or expiration? Inspiration, right? If he does have it, what do I do?
Greasy McGuffey.
What's your dosage?
2.5 milligrams.
No.
Sorry, 0.5 milligrams. Sorry, 2.5.
No.
What?
2.25.
2.25% and 0.5 or 3 ml.
If I saw it on paper, I'd know that. I just forgot it off the top of my head. I promise you, I put that on the test. I put that on the test.
Well, I thank you for, trying.
Yeah, that's right.
I had the numbers.
Candace was like, no.
Not right now. Try again. No.
All right.
Still.
So okay, he has no Strider. Mr. Jones, just say your name again. Let me hear your voice.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones. When you say your name.
Miss Jones.
Okay. All right. So I know his vocal cords are adducting, right? And he, to a certain extent, can maintain his airway and protect his airway, right? Okay. Well, I'll be back to come check on you, and we'll see you in a minute, okay? Hopefully we'll be able to untie his arms at this point, and then his suction will be here, okay? We'll need to show him how to suction their mouth, and then you'll just leave him alone, let him chill out, and let him chill out, and then you know, you can come back and check on them and then put them on a nasal cannula. There are people who do extubate 2 straight to nasal cannulas. The literature says that we should not. We should use cool mist aerosols. Why?
To prevent airway swelling.
If you have airway swelling, then it's really nice. Just because you have a leak prior to extubation does not mean that that you don't have swelling in the back of the throat. Okay? So, but anyways, so that's what we're doing here. We will assess leaks next semester and how they affect extubations. But as of right now, this is just your process, okay? The biggest thing that most people get hooked up on is when you deflate the cuff, you tell the patient to take a big deep breath in, because when you take a big deep breath in, the trachea then expands a little bit more, right? You want them to take a big deep breath in, expansion, then yank out the tube, instead of, all right, deflate the cuff and cough. Because if you deflate the cuff and cough, coughing goes like this to the airway. So you don't want to do it and say cough. You want to say take a big deep breath in, yank it after you deflated it, then cough. Okay? So not deflate, cough. Okay? Does that make sense? Because then it's going to, your trachea is going to like hang on to that tube.
And that's what, to help you remember that, do it right that way because there's no reading on that. Either 100 or 0, well, I'm not going to do it to 75. That'll kind of just get you to remember it, okay?
So, snap,
I missed this part. You probably stop on that. Are you done with the extubation?
But if,
yeah.
but if you're clarifying, with,
Well, when you, I missed this part. If you have to like get an X-ray and you're adjusting the ET tube, did you talk about like deflating the cuff as you adjust it, pull it back or push it down?
We talked about that in class.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so what Erica was saying is that if you get a chest x-ray and the tube looks too deep, what do? Well, before they do it, suction them, you know.
Yeah.
And then deflate the cuff and pull it back 2 to 3 centimeters. Note where it is on the tube, reinflate, and then have them shoot another x-ray.
And don't forget about that cuff.
Yeah.
I say that because I can tell you on numerous times I've seen people like undo the tape or head strap, pull the tube back, and then and I'm like, now granted, you're not inflating your cuff enough to completely seal off the tracheal wall. You still want a little bit of air to go around so you don't have like, swelling later on. But gosh, that's not very comfortable. So just make sure that you deflate and then reinflate.
Yeah, and the biggest thing too is if you don't deflate it, you're definitely going to cause tracheal airway irritation, and then you are gonna cause some swelling. You've just iatrogenically caused it now.
You still want us to listen before, like once you deflate it, you still want us to listen and make sure there's a leak.
If you're doing an MLT, if you're not doing an MLT and you're doing an MOV, then you don't have to make sure that you hear like an audible leak. The leak will go away. But remember too, with an MOV, all you're doing is inflating the cuff just enough.
No, I mean like when you're getting ready to extubate.
So we'll talk about that later.
We not there? Okay.
We will talk about that later. Yeah, that specifically we waited until because y'all can't do that yet this semester.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do that next semester.
But you could say that. Say your patient was intubated for, a week, and then he's self-extubated, and you had to reintubate him, and you are aware there is swelling. So, upon extubation, say you just take a little listen to see if you even hear swelling around the ET tube, and if you don't hear any aeration around the ET tube, before pulling it, letting somebody know, hey, I didn't hear anything when I deflated the cuff.
Yeah. Because sometimes they'll say, like, don't extubate them then,
right?
You wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Right. So if right at the very beginning, even if I didn't do that, let's just say I didn't, and I deflated the cuff, because I'm getting ready to extubate, I should hear an audible leak, right? In the event I didn't, what should I do? Reinflate that baby and say,
may have an incident.
I ain't gonna be doing that. Not right now. You know. So
So anytime basically that you're gonna be moving the ET at all whatsoever, you need to close the oral suction, no matter what, even if you're moving,
yes.
even like
Yes.
repositioning.
Now, if you are using your tube holder, wherever it is, and those two little side things that you squeeze and you can move it, you know, from like one side to the other. The whole point of that is to not get breakdown in one specific area for any length of time. So like, how often do y'all get?
So every night, or as needed, the patient is retaped. If they're using a holster, the tube holder, then like every shift, you're just repositioning, you're just sliding it over, you're just constantly moving that tube. It's easier to use a holster because you're just sliding it.
So like, so again, remember she said, make sure you know what your hospital's requirements are. At AU, every ventilator assessment that I